So I want to discuss three important themes in Romeo and Juliet. So the first one is think before you act. Romeo and Juliet are both guilty of not thinking about the consequences to the situations and the decisions that they make. So my question for you is as we're reading this, do you think Romeo and Juliet are guilty of acting on an impulse? Why or why not? And, I would say there's more evidence that proves that they were acting on an impulse than not. The next theme is hate only devastates. And so the biggest question is, who is to blame for Romeo and Juliet's death? There are a lot of characters who make really bad decisions, and I would just ultimately say that timing is a terrible aspect in this whole entire play. Like, the timing is so off, and there's also lack of communication. So is there specifically like one character we could point out, or is it multiple characters that make these terrible decisions? And then the last theme I want to talk about is probably one of the most relevant, I guess, themes in society to this play. And this is why I think teenagers need to read this play, because love versus lust. This is huge, okay? So love is going to be that emotional feeling we feel towards someone. And then lust is that physical attraction we feel to someone. Now, I do want to say that the way I teach this play is I pointed out that there's lust there, because in my opinion, that there's more evidence that Romeo and Juliet were in lust rather than love. And so I point that out a lot. Now, I do have students, and there are scholars out there that say, Romeo and Juliet, they were really in love. Well, you can find the evidence for it. In fact, I'll point some out to you if you were to argue that Romeo and Juliet were in love. But to me, and I'll talk about this in Act 1, Scene 5, Romeo is literally grieving over a chick not loving him, and then he sees Juliet at a party, and he thinks to himself, oh my God, I've never seen a more beautiful woman, when he was just talking about another woman in the same light. So, in other words, Juliet is a rebound, and Romeo is physically lusting after Juliet, and it leads to so many terrible decisions. That's why teenagers, I like to teach this play, because lust will get you in trouble, and lust is not okay. And so, Romeo and Juliet, are they in lust or are they in love? I'm asking you. So, what do you think? I'm going to ask you when we're done reading this play, so I want you to write down if you find some love or lust, okay?